Welcome to Retirement Key Radio with Abe Abish.
This pandemic is having a serious impact on the travel industry. Abe, you and Shelley, have you held back any traveling because of this?
Well, yeah, Kristen, we had a couple trips planned at the beginning of this year. We had a trip to Maui, and that got canceled. We had a trip to Iceland planned. That got canceled.
Oh, my gosh.
And now we are going to the beach in Charleston, South Carolina, and we are really looking forward to that. We usually go down.
But you're going to drive this time
We're going to
around.
drive. We're going to drive. So we'll see what happens for travel in the fall. My brother and his wife and baby moved out to San Francisco last year, and so my mom and I will probably go out and visit them in the fall, maybe September. But, the big trips, they've been postponed. Shelley and I are talking about maybe going to a Caribbean island in August if we can get away. So we'll see, but all the big trips had been canceled.
And it's all due to this pandemic. It's having serious impact on so much, especially the travel industry. And Boeing has announced more than 12,000 layoffs and buyouts. United Airlines planning job cuts. Other airlines expected to follow suit. AP Airlines writer David Coing says that the cutbacks are sadly no surprise right now.
Air travel has just fallen off the cliff. It's down roughly 90% worldwide. It fell as badly as 96% in the U.S.
Now, with airports so close in and around D.C., what would you say to folks who work for airlines and those in other industries that are not expected to make a quick recovery from this crisis?
What would I say? Well, you can't control everything, so just control what you can control. A couple examples. We have some clients that work around Dulles Airport, work at the airport for airlines and other companies that help the airport out. Also, I was just recently talking to a family that lives in Arlington. They're in their 50s, and the husband is a pilot for a major airline. And this airline is preparing the pilot and all of the other pilots for this airline to earn 50% less for doing the same amount of work.
Okay, that is math that does not add up for me, but I guess if I were the airline, I'm trying to make the best of the situation, keep people employed, keep giving them benefits, but at the same time, I'm the employee and going, no, I don't like that.
50% pay cut.
That's a 50% cut in my lifestyle and everything.
I know. And you live in the DC metro area. I mean, a 50% pay cut, yeah, maybe you don't need that other 50% to live on, but you certainly need it to do everything in your life that you're doing now, saving for retirement, and you're living on a certain amount of money and spending some for vacations and saving the rest usually, So that's a huge reduction. And we have to prepare for those kind of things. So we're talking to a lot of people right now, Kristen, whose jobs have been affected. Perhaps, obviously we've all worked from home, and some people have been laid off. Some people's jobs are being reduced and scaled back, the pay, as we just talked about here. And this couple in Arlington, Virginia, they have about 10 years until they retire. They've saved about 1.8 million. They've done a pretty good job.
That's great.
Especially with another 10 years to go, to continue to save and for that money to work hard for them. And we estimated that between the money that they have saved now and the monies that they can save between now and 10 years from now, that they would have about 4 million saved if all goes well by the time they're 63, 64, maybe 65, which is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a great chunk of money. So kudos to them, because they're in their early 50s, a solid 10 years away before they fully retire, and they're coming to us now. Hey, what can we do now? And you know what? The wife felt like they hadn't done enough. They almost have 2 million saved now, and they're not even 55.
But it never feels like enough, Abe.
That's true. I think they've done a pretty good job, and I think they'll be in a great position, especially with 10 years to plan. It's a lot harder when clients come to us and there's 3 months left, a year left, and Abe, I'm thinking about retiring next year. Well, that's great. We can help you cross the finish line as successfully as we can into retirement, but there's only so much planning you can do when you're that close, and we can do a lot of planning, but you can do a lot more planning with 10 years in advance. So kudos to them for coming to us so early. They called into the show, and the wife was concerned with a lot of what's going on in the world.
Of course.
Concerned about the airline telling her husband that, hey, expect a 50% pay decrease. Where are we now, Abe? is this enough money? I'm kind of concerned. And what can we do to line up our ducks in a row so that by the time we do retire, we're set up? And so we talk about a lot of things, their insurances, the amount of monies that they have saved, the risk that they're taking. We found out that they are about 95% in stocks, and they really want to get that down to about a 70% level.
Okay.
In other words, they're a 7 on our risk scale. We recommended reducing risk to match that up with their risk tolerance.
Now, did they have a feeling that they were taking too much risk before they came in to see you?
They did.
Okay.
She said, we knew, but we didn't know what else to do. Right? We didn't know what else to do. And everything else other than stocks right now seems to be so low paying, cash and treasuries and CDs, everything else is so low with interest rates being so low. Where else do you go? So they did all they knew to do, and that was to stay in pretty much all stocks. And hey, you can earn 30% from time to time, and you can lose that amount in a month. And it's a little bit of a roller coaster from time to time. And with 10 plus years until you retire, you can take on more risk than someone retiring in the next year or two or in the next 5. But even this lady was saying, hey, we're 54, 55. We've saved almost $2 million. It sure would be nice to know that a chunk of our hard-earned dollars is safer than stocks, right? That is set aside. I can rely on it. I can depend on it and know it's there. And so those are a lot of the things we talked about. We put together a retirement income plan for them. Even though it's 10 years away, it was extremely helpful for this couple to see, oh, okay, that's what our Social Security will look like. That's what our annuities will look like. This is what our investments will look like. This is what the pension will look like. How much total is that per year? Is that going to keep up with inflation? And so it was extremely helpful for them to go through that exercise.
Find out more at retirementkeyradio.com.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish, NBM number 7703575.